They even found a reverse relative age effect in esports for some age groups.
And that's why I'm such a better gamer than Yo-Yo! Welcome to the Stanley Live channel. Today is going to be me, it's going to be chat. We're reacting to a video from the one, the only, the homie. Memeable data, how your birth month impacts your success. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I feel like October has the best ability for successful people. Let's find out though. I really want to see if there's any logic behind this right here.
This is all the players currently in Spanish football.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, is this in a different language? No. Okay, got it.
If you group them by month of birth, something interesting happens.
Come on, October. Come on, October. Come on, October. Oh, it's not looking good for me. Oh, it's not looking good for me. Oh, it's not looking good for me. Oh, I almost had no chance of making it. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Okay.
Do you see it? I'll give you a hint. There are significantly more players born in the first 6 months than in the last 6 months of the year.
Yeah.
This is caused by a phenomenon called the relative age effect. I'll explain what that means.
Okay.
Let's say it's December 31st of 2022. Two friends meet for a birthday party. Red was born on January 1st, 2004. Blue, the birthday boy, was born on December 31st and just turned 18. Right now, they're both 18 and you wouldn't notice the difference between them. After all, Red is only 6% older than Blue. However, if we travel back in time, it's a different story. Let's go back to their first day of primary school. It's now September 1st of 2010. Even though the difference between their ages is still 11 months and 30 days, the relative age difference increased. Red is now 18% older than Blue. At this age, the 11 additional months he had to grow make a difference and you can see it. He's taller.
Oh, I've heard about this before. I don't remember exactly what it is, and I know he's gonna get into the video, but isn't it something like where someone basically is at like a higher version of 18 and you're at like this lower version of 18, and because of that they have bodily advantages? Not even just 18, but like they have year-end physical advantages because basically they have more time to be at that level than you were.
Stronger and mentally more developed,
yeah,
which gives them an advantage in sports and school. This is known as the relative age effect. People born earlier in the school or sports year tend to perform to a higher level than those born at the end of the year. But if we travel back to 2022, these differences should disappear, right? Well, not really. Research shows us that even when—
Whoa, this is crazy because the year over combined effect of hold on, my brain's cooking something. Hold on, wait. My brain's cooking something. Because the year over combined effect, right? Let's say, right? Let's make it simple. Let's do simple math real quick. Stick with me, chat. Hold on. Look. You got to think about it like this. If every year, right? 2022, you know what I'm saying? 2023, you know what I'm saying? 2024, right? 2025, right? Boom, right? You got person A, you got person B, right? Every year, they're growing up basically the same. Feel what I'm saying? But if every year person A is getting +1 in experience points, +1 in experience points, right? If every year he's getting that, right? Boom. Hold on, because I gotta really add it up for y'all. And then this person down here is getting +3 every year because he's just a little bit older. He's a little bit smarter. He's a little bit faster. He gets a little bit more access because he's older. Even though it's not that much of a difference, it's really just 2 more points. By the end of it, you see how in 4 years he's at 369. He's at 12, while this person is only at 4. Hold on. No, that's kind of crazy. And then you gotta imagine that through a lifetime. Oh my gosh. They never stood a chance. Stanley, we get it. And then I'm confused. Okay, I'm either a really good teacher or a really horrible one.
Become adults, people who are older than their peers during childhood still have an advantage in sports, education, and even in positions of leadership. The small advantages at an early age can build up into bigger advantages in adulthood. This is known as the Matthew effect, aka the rich get richer, the poor get poorer.
Right.
What is a small advantage at the start can develop into a bigger advantage later on. The point of this video is to talk about how the relative age effect can impact success in education, sports, career, and what we can do about it. Let's start with sports. In most sports, children are grouped based on their calendar year of birth. On average, children born earlier in the year are taller, stronger, and faster. Therefore, an older child will have a higher chance of being selected by the coach to play. Being selected to play means the child gets more experience, becomes better, and ends up with higher chances of becoming a professional athlete later on. It's the Matthew effect. The older player is picked because he's better, and then ends up becoming better with time because he was picked, apparently validating the early decision of the coach. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. There's plenty of research about the relative age effect in sports. There are studies in football.
I'm not gonna lie. Now, would it be crazy if I have a kid and if he's born towards the end of the year, I make him fail a grade on purpose? Is that crazy? Because I need him to be able to play with people that he's older than. You feel me? I might make him fail a grade on purpose.
Baseball, ice hockey, tennis, you name it. I decided to share the findings of this particular study in Sweden.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I chose it because it's quite recent and honestly because it's the first result on Google. Their conclusions? The birthday distributions were consistently skewed for every individual sport investigated. They looked at different sports and analyzed the birthdays of every athlete. They grouped them in blocks of 4 months, also known as tertiles, and they compared the actual number of athletes per tertile against the numbers that you would expect from looking at the birth of the population in Sweden. The y-axis shows the ratio between these two numbers. In other words, if the ratio is higher than 1, that means there is an abnormally high number of athletes born in those months. They looked at 14 to 17-year-old athletes in athletics and they got these results. Take a sec.
Yo, I never stood a chance at making it to the NBA. I never even got the chance to be able to make it to the NBA. Like, I'm tall and everything, but because I was born in October, I couldn't get picked over. Cause they just naturally had, and that reason, this reason specifically, just this reason, is the reason that I didn't make it to the NBA. I could have been Bronny. Wow, bro. That's actually crazy.
Second to see what this means. There's 27% more athletes born in the beginning of the year than what would be normal for the Swedish population, and 28% fewer at the end of the year. These are big gaps. If the results are accurate, this means that the teenagers born in the first tertile are 74% more likely to become athletes than those born in the last tertile.
Yeah!
The authors frame the results in a way that might give a better picture of what this means. In theory, these gaps represent the missed stars. Teenagers that had the potential but never made it as athletes because of the month they were born in. Whereas this gap represents the athletes that are, quote, not talented, teenagers that wouldn't have made it as athletes if the rules were even. The gap is not as big for older age groups, but it's still there. They also found similar results in cross-country skiing.
Yeah, but like, you know, usually by that age, you kind of give up. Like, you know what I'm saying, bro? The authors even mentioned that the relative age effect can have a negative impact on public health because it can reduce the lifetime levels of physical activity. They even found a reverse relative age effect in esports for some age groups. They suggest a hypothesis that— And that's why I'm such a better gamer than Yo-Yo! Because the later that you're born, the nicer you are at video games. That really makes sense to like why I'm like the best gamer in the group type stuff.
Younger children are more likely to drop out from physical sports and focus more on other hobbies like playing video games. One important note, in most investigative sports, the birthday distribution was not correlated to the performance of the adults. In other words, being born early means you get a higher chance of being selected to play when young, but once you're older and you're part of it selected, it doesn't really matter anymore.
At a certain point, you only get to build that lead as a kid. Once you're an adult, it really becomes like the onus is on you to become a good individual at what you want to become a good individual at. If you want something as bad as you say you do, you're going to be able to beat people who just naturally made it or other people who are even trying and stuff like that. It doesn't become so much as like an adult picked you, so now you have a, what is it? He called it something. It was like a fulfilled prophecy or something like that. Nobody's putting you on that path beside yourself.
Mention the underdog hypothesis. Since younger children are less physically mature, they must possess or develop superior skills to be competitive. The relative age effect is also present in education. Each country has their own criteria to determine to which school year students belong. In some countries, like Portugal, where I'm from, the cutoff date is December 31st. This means January kids are the oldest.
I'm not gonna lie though, bro. If my kid's born after June, bro, he's not graduating with his, like, he's gonna start school when he's 2 or whatever the age. Whatever age he's supposed to start school, add 1 to it, that's when he's starting, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
In class.
Project LeBron has to happen, and I'll be damned. Oh my gosh. I'll be damned if Project LeBron doesn't happen because a coach didn't pick my son because he was too small because he was born in December instead of January.
In the Southern Hemisphere, February and March are common cutoff months, whereas August and September are more common in the Northern Hemisphere. No matter what cutoff date we choose, we're going to end up with a group of students with older and younger children.
I don't really watch
Older children
soccer.
are cognitively more developed. As a result, they score higher marks on average, and by the time they end school, they can be more likely to attend higher education in academic schools over vocational
W ball knowledge, Grandpa Reezy.
schools. Once again, the Matthew effect. The skills learned by the older students early in school can build up and increase their advantage when applying to university later on. There is plenty of research pointing to a relative age effect on education. For example, this study looked at the performance of Dutch teenagers in school for each month of birth.
Okay.
In the Netherlands, October kids are the oldest of the class. The authors analyzed the percentage of students that had repeated grade, and as expected, the younger students struggled the most. They also checked the percentage of students that skipped the grade, and once again, the older students performed the best.
That is crazy.
So, we came to the conclusion that the relative age effect has an impact in sports and education. We've also seen how small early advantages can build.
Hear me out. 12 different schools. 12 different schools. You have the school of Octobers. You have the school of Novembers, the school of Decembers, January's, February, Marches, Aprils, May, Junes, Julys, August, Septembers. Every year, 12 school brackets. We pin the months against each other's, right? Whoever wins is like, you know, like the Olympics basic. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like that's fire.
Build up to bigger advantages later on. Therefore, it's not a surprise that this can also affect your career. There are studies in the US Senate and House of Representatives, in Finnish politics, and even in the corporate CEOs of S&P 500 companies. These studies all have similar conclusions. Professionals who were born in the late months of the school calendar are underrepresented in positions of leadership. So, what can we do to solve the relative age effect? Well, unfortunately, if you're watching this video, it's probably a bit too late to do much for yourself. However, what we can do is to try to reduce this effect on our younger generations. Research on this topic often mentions the same point. We should separate children based on abilities, not on their age. In sports, children should be selected based on skill, not on size or strength. And in schools, children should be allowed to learn at their own pace. Finally, we should educate coaches and leaders on the consequences of the relative age effect, which is also—
That just doesn't work because when in football, when the skill gap can be so big when you're a jit, because, you know, jits are only so skillful, that one of the biggest skills or assets is the size and strength. So even if there was a kid who was technically more skillful, but there was just a 5th, 6th grader his same size or his same age, but same skill level, but he weighs 250 pounds instead of 4, like a coach has to pick that. It's just no way.
The point of this video. If you like stories told with data, consider leaving a like in the video and subscribing to the channel.
W video, man, I appreciate you telling me my hoop dreams were never ever gonna happen. I had no chance. It really put things in perspective to me. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe down below. I will catch you guys in the next one. With that being said, goodbye.